Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Well, the whining fest continues. The little group of whining crybabies who aren't getting what they want, or frankly are getting what they deserve, have started a media tour. Adam Schiff, Swalwell, and Ilhan Omar are actually trying to convince the American people that they, yes, them, they're the victims. It's unfair political targeting. Ilhan Omar, of course, is playing the race card, going as far to say that she's being targeted specifically because of the color of her skin, and that it's GOP racism. That's why they're attempting to remove her from her committee position. But oh, the irony in that accusation. Let's continue to cover this crybaby saga. The ridiculous nature of it all, of course. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright friends, so take a look at this headline right over here. Ilhan Omar insinuates that the GOP is racist for attempting to remove her from committee. Democrat firebrand Representative Ilhan Omar suggested on Sunday that racism is behind House Speaker Kevin McCarthy's effort to remove her from the House Foreign Affairs Committee. The Minnesota lawmaker, who appeared on CNN's State of the Union, has been accused in the past of pushing anti-Semitic tropes and recently drew fire for equating the US and Israel to the Taliban and Hamas. McCarthy, who was offended by her statements, has also moved to block Omar's fellow Democrats Adam Schiff and Swalwell from serving on the House Intelligence Committee based on their past behavior. In her case, Omar said McCarthy's decision was politically motivated, and in some cases, it's motivated by the fact that many of these members don't believe a Muslim, a refugee, an African, should even be in Congress, let alone have the opportunity to serve on the Foreign Affairs Committee. I mean, I'm not making any accusations, she then continued after she literally labeled the GOP as racist. I'm just laying out the facts. These people are okay with Islamophobia. They're okay with trafficking in their own ways of anti-Semitism, and they are not okay with having a Muslim have a voice on that committee. And that I find real rich. First of all, it's just a ridiculous assumption. And the audacity of this woman to claim that she's being targeted by these evil racists, when she herself has a history of bigotry and racism, is a complete joke. And speaking of a complete joke, her response or her excuse for her history in anti-Semitism is also quite laughable.
You said that Israel hypnotized the world. You said Israel is an apartheid regime, that politicians with pro-Israel stances were all about the Benjamins, which you very notably apologized for, that you support the BDS movement, which a lot of people think is rooted in anti-Semitism, compared the U.S. and Israel to Hamas and the Taliban. I want to give you a chance to respond to all of that, which they say is a clear pattern.
Yeah, I might have used words at the time that I didn't understand were trafficking in anti-Semitism. When that was brought to my attention, I apologized. I owned up to it. That's the kind of person that I am. And I continue to work with my colleagues and my community to fight against anti-Semitism. Now, I've never compared or made any comparisons. What I was referencing was a case that was in front of the ICC.
So when you apologized for the all about the Benjamins comment, you said anti-Semitism is real, and I'm grateful for Jewish allies and colleagues who are educating me on the painful history of anti-Semitic tropes. What did you learn?
A lot. I certainly did not or was not aware that the word hypnotize was a trope. I wasn't aware of the fact that there are tropes about Jews and money. That has been a very enlightening part of this journey.
Oh, well, she just didn't know. Give me a friggin' break. Ilhan Omar isn't some 16-year-old who doesn't understand the cultural implications of the terms that she's saying. She's a 40-year-old woman who is deeply alert and involved in Middle Eastern and African relations between Israel and other surrounding nations. She knows the tropes. I mean, you can't be serving time in Congress, spend decades living in the United States, and be completely oblivious to racial, cultural, and religious tropes. It's just not possible. She proves once again why she should not be sitting on that committee, because she's a liar. She says horrible things, comparing the United States and Israel to Hamas and the Taliban. In her defense of Hamas and the Taliban, completely ludicrous. Her removal from the House Foreign Affairs Committee has absolutely nothing to do with the color of her skin or her religious identity and presentation. It has all to do with the things things that she says. She's simply the wrong person for the job, and Kevin McCarthy is the first House Speaker to actually show a decent amount of courage and do the right thing. It's basically that simple, and it ends right there. But let's continue on with the next character, Eric Swalwell. Walking, talking national security risk, Eric Swalwell. Let's take a look at his defense.
Congressman, you were also removed by Republicans from the Intelligence Committee. What the Speaker said about you is that beginning in 2012, a suspected Chinese spy developed ties to you and to your office, even put an intern there, raised campaign funds for you. You say very clearly you cut off ties with this person back in 2015 when you found out you cooperated with the FBI. But the bottom line question is this: did you put yourself in a vulnerable position in any way so that this alleged Chinese spy could have benefited or even learn American secrets?
Absolutely not.
Well, he claims that he did not compromise national security through his past relationship with a Chinese spy. Immediately disqualified. That's his defense. I might have shacked up with a Chinese spy, and who knows what access she had to my personal information and what I might have told her during personal intimate moments. I never compromised national security. I don't know how you could say something like that with a straight face and expect the American people to take you seriously. I mean, it's one of those situations, once again, where I don't really have to say much. He made the statement. It's flat out ridiculous, and I think most people could see it, and not much needs to be added. Now let's move on to pencil neck Schiff, who after years of lying to the American people about this Russia collusion nonsense and his endless witch hunt to go after Donald Trump, after years of being caught up in lies and controversy and scandal, falsifying evidence, Adam Schiff then goes on CNN and triples down on the Russia collusion hoax.
You said that there was direct evidence of the fact that Donald Trump colluded with Russia back in 2016. Special counsel Robert Mueller said in his report, quote, "The investigation did not establish that members of the Trump campaign conspired or coordinated with the Russian government." Republicans argue that's proof that you used your position on the Intelligence Committee to intentionally mislead Americans, which is why you should not be on that committee.
If you read the Mueller report, he makes clear, even in the first few pages of the report, that he states no conclusion on whether Donald Trump and his campaign colluded with the Russians. But what he does reveal in his report, what we found in our investigation, is that Donald Trump's campaign manager was sharing internal campaign polling data and their strategy for key battleground states with an agent of Russian intelligence, while that same unit of Russian intelligence was helping the Trump campaign.
And now this guy is wondering why he's been removed from the House Intelligence Committee. I mean, what a group of undesirables. What a group of clowns the circus is in town. You could tell that none of them have a legitimate defense. Ilhan Omar's defense was, "I'm ignorant, and I'm just being targeted because of my racism." Eric Swalwell's defense is just complete idiocy. No, of course not. I regret nothing, and I didn't put myself in a susceptible position by dating a literal Chinese spy. And Adam Schiff, I don't even know what his defense is. There's so many skeletons in this guy's closet. He's such a liar. He's such a corrupt partisan actor. I haven't seen or heard him defend any of his lies, justify any of them. He hasn't addressed any of his ethics violations, or frankly some of the things that he's done that I personally think are criminal, and he's still doubling and tripling down on the Russia collusion hoax. This is probably the last video that I'm gonna make here on these three clowns crying about losing their committee positions. They've said what they have to say, they've defended themselves of course in quotation marks. They've said their piece, I've listened, and my opinion remains unchanged. Kevin McCarthy is totally justified in removing every single one of them. I think we're just gonna do the same thing we did last time, and I'm going to end the video with the exact same message. Eric Swalwell, Ilhan Omar, and Adam Schiff.
Bye, have a beautiful time.
Go crawl back under the rock from which you came. That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.